Interior hospital room, day. Brooke, 8, blonde ponytail, lays on a hospital bed watching wrestling. Leg amputation visible. Jess, 28, Hispanic looks, tracksuit, approaches. Jess. Brooke? Brooke? Hi, my name's Jess. What you watching? Jess peers over the screen and sees Brooke is watching American wrestling. Brooke raises her eyebrows and exhales loudly. I watched a bit of wrestling when I was a kid. Can you taste what The Rock is cooking? Brooke has an open-mouthed stare of disgust. Jess awkwardly scans Brooke's bed space, sees 2 masked wrestling action figures. Jess points at the figures. Wow, you are a fan, aren't you? So, who's your favourite wrestler? Brooke ignores her. Jess moves towards the figures. Jess reaching for a figure. I like this guy. Without looking up, Brooke snatches the figures away before Jess can touch them. Jess retracts her hand quickly. She shakily closes her fingers and holds her hand to her chest nervously. Okay, well, I'm gonna go, but I'll come to see you tomorrow, all right? Brooke doesn't acknowledge. Jess backs away. Interior hospital hall, day. Jess enters the hall, rubs her face. Marie, 52, Irish nurse, approaches her, gently rubs Jess's arms. Well, how did that go? Marie laughs sympathetically. Jess manages a laugh. Look, don't panic. It's not you. She's going through a lot right now. You know that better than anyone. Yeah, I know. I just don't know what to say. Just be yourself. But I feel like a fraud. A fraud? Don't be ridiculous. You're a bloody hero, girl. If you're a fraud, what does that make me? Marie hugs Jess. Exterior, street, night, raining. Jess, soaked tracksuit, hurries across the street carrying bags of shopping. Interior, Jess's apartment, night. Jess uses one foot to awkwardly kick the door shut behind her. Interior, Jess's living room, night. Jess sits on the sofa, towel on head. Her wet, prosthetic legs lean against the radiator. She Googles wrestlers with masks. She sees the 2 wrestlers from earlier. Their names are Sin Cara and Callisto. She watches highlights. Sin Cara does a move that Jess recognizes from gymnastics. She squints her eyes. Her face moves closer to the screen. She rewinds and replays the move several times. A smile creeps onto her face. Ha! A double back. Jess Googles her own name. Results come up under GB Gymnastics. She scrolls down. There's hits for Army and Olympian hero amputee. She scrolls past these. She watches herself in a competition performing a triple backflip. A triple back. She smiles. She reluctantly hovers over a report of the explosion which injured her and killed her colleagues. Her smile disappears. She clicks on the link. Jess stares at the faces of her lost friends in a news report. Her bottom lip quivers. She looks across at her prosthetic legs drying against the radiator. A drip of water cuts a random course down her prosthetic. A tear rolls down her cheek and cuts its own path on her face. She bursts into tears. The towel on her head unravels over her face and she slings it across the room in a rage. The towel hits one of her legs, which clangs against the radiator and onto the floor. Jess stares at the leg. Her sobs cease. She purses her lips and furrows her brow, deep in thought. She jumps off the couch and scoots backwards quickly onto her backside towards her bedroom. Interior, hospital staff room, day. Jess's name badge says Physiotherapy Team. She wears shorts and prosthetic blades. Marie smiles and encouragingly ushers Jess out with her eyes. Interior, hospital room, day. Brooke plays with her wrestling figures. Jess walks in, smiles. Brooke notices Jess's legs. Jess. So, which one is faceless? Brooke looks confused. Sin cara. It means faceless in Spanish. Brooke raises her eyebrows, raises a figure and shakes it gently. I don't know what Callisto means, I'm afraid, but it's not Spanish. Oh, I love their masks. Brooke smiles, looks at her figures. She leans forward to peek at Jess's blades. Jess. Have you seen blades before? Brooke continues to peek. Jess moves closer. Well, you see, I'm lucky. I get to have 2 different sets of legs, one with feet and one with these blades on at the end, for doing sports and stuff. Jess sits on the bed. Jess whispers, and I've been told that you're going to get one of each too. Jess smiles at Brooke and looks towards the door. Marie watches through the window and smiles. Brooke. What sports can you do on them? Jess shows surprise at Brooke's interaction. Well, quite a few. I can do running, I can do hurdles, I can jump onto boxes, although that's not really a sport, is it? They both giggle. They're really good. I don't think I'll be able to do gymnastics again, though. That reminds me, what's their finishing move called again? Jess points to the wrestling figures. A moonsault. That's it, a moonsault. Well, guess what? When I was a gymnast, I could do a triple moonsault. Jess uses her forefinger to draw the flips in the air. Wow, really? Yep. Brooke looks down at the figures. I used to want to be a wrestler when I grow up, but I won't be able to now. Who says? If you want to be a wrestler, then you can be. Brooke looks up hopefully. Then how come you aren't a gymnast anymore? Jess pauses awkwardly, realises her mistake. She sits back purposefully as she tries to move the conversation on. So, what do you say we get started on Monday and we can show everyone just how strong you are? Brooke smiles in acknowledgement. Jess rubs Brooke's hand, walks away. Brooke. Smell. Huh? It's, can you smell what the Rock is cooking? Jess laughs and nods. Brooke goes back to her figures. Interior, Jess's living room, night. Jess wears shorts and a vest, blades on. She attempts backflips, fails, falls on her face. Red-faced and sweaty, she grits her teeth. She continues to try. Out of breath, she holds her arms out to her front. She prepares to flip again. Her heavy breathing slows, her hands drop, and she drops exhausted to her prosthetic knees. Her eyes widen, fists clench. She screams manically as she beats her thighs with her fists. Interior, Jess's bedroom, night. Wet hair from the shower, Jess lies in her bed and searches for wrestling events on the internet. She finds a local event advertising tickets for a show in 3 weeks. She checks the time and calls Marie, smiles excitedly. Marie, sorry, I know it's late, but I found the perfect thing to cheer up Brooke. Interior, gym reception, day. Jess, in a rundown gym at a windowless hatch. Behind a messy desk sits Kyle, 64, short, balding, trainer's tracksuit. On the wall are pictures of Kyle and wrestlers. Yes, young lady, how can I help? Hi, I'm after some tickets for the wrestling show, please. Kyle tuts and sighs. I'm sorry, lass, it's sold out. Jess screws up her face and runs her fingers through her hair, lets out a groan of frustration. Afraid so. It's a popular event. Got some big names on the card and a title fight. Is there nowhere else I can get tickets? Kyle's old-fashioned desk phone rings. He reaches for the handset, turns to face away as he replies to Jess. Not unless you know a female fighter who's willing to step up at short notice. Excuse me. Kyle answers the phone. As Kyle talks, Jess, deep in thought, scans the picture on Kyle's walls. She sees photos taken outside different London wrestling venues. She sees a picture of Kyle posing with two tough-looking female wrestlers. Her brow scrunches. She bites the inside of her cheek nervously and exhales audibly. That'll do then, John. Yep. See you then, lad. Kyle looks up. Sorry, as I was purposefully head high. I'll do it. You what? I'll fight on the 18th, but I need 3 tickets. Lass, if you're a wrestler, you can have 3 VIP tickets. Don't you worry about that. Have I seen you fight before? You look familiar. Oh, yeah, you might have done. I did a few shows down south a couple of years back. Did some training in the London gyms. I knew I'd seen your face before. I never forget a fighter's face. What's your name? Jess pauses, thinks quickly. Brooke. If that's your stage name, then it needs work. Jess, nervously. Oh, I see. Seen Piernas. Kyle smiles approvingly. Lucha style, eh? Yeah, I like it. Well, come down to training tonight, lass, and we'll see how you go. 7:30, don't be late. Jess smiles nervously and walks away. She rolls her eyes. Bloody sin Piernas. Interior wrestling gym, night. Tired wrestlers stand in a semicircle post-training session. Jess is among them on her blades and looks worried. The only other female is Mary. Kyle stands in front of them. You have your scripts. You know the score. Group practice here as per, but I expect you to be making your own arrangements for additional training as required. See you on Monday. The group begins to disperse. Oi! Not you, Brooke. Or is it Jessica Velez? And not you either, Mary. Jess cringes and turns slowly to face Kyle. I knew I'd seen your face before, didn't I? I knew it. Not in any bloody fight though, were it? You lied to me, lass. You also forgot to tell me about your legs. She tries to apologise. Shh, I'm talking. Now, what I can say is, what you lack in honesty and experience, you certainly make up for in balls. Kyle turns to Mary. Mary, as usual, I can say nought, other than that you are both very odd and very brilliant in equal measure. Kyle looks at them both. Jess awkwardly switches her attention between Kyle and Mary. Mary looks straight ahead, emotionless. Kyle. So, against my better judgment, I'm going to let you fight. Jess clenches her fist. But you are training 5 nights a week. I'm not having you show me up. Jess nods happily. Mary's going to win the bout, but you'll put up a good fight. Jess nods, looks at Mary to acknowledge. Mary still stares ahead blankly. Good. Well then, Seen Piernas, meet Scary Mary. Learn, rehearse, don't bugger it up. Jess nods excitedly, jogs to the exit. Mary slowly walks off. Jess turns. Coach! Kyle turns. Thanks. Kyle nods and smiles. Just so you know, I did tell you about my legs. Kyle furrows his face. Jess smiles. Kyle walks away confused. Exterior, Montage, day and night. Training, video study, Brooke's rehab. Includes training with Mary and Kyle. Jess teaching Brooke a unique fist bump and them using it to celebrate Brooke's rehab successes. Includes Jess modifying a gym outfit for wrestling and receiving a Mexican mask in the post. She practices her backflip, succeeds but fails in the double flip. Montage is partly voiced over by Kyle. I don't know your reasons for being here, lass, but you are here, so you have to listen. I know you've had a rough ride, and God knows I admire your courage, but it's bloody obvious you don't believe in yourself no more. You have to forget the meaning of can't. You've spent your whole bloody life proving that you can, and now one setback brings some chaos to your existence, and you're ready to say I can't? We all live in chaos, Jess, even people who haven't been blown up. How do you expect life to be any less chaotic for you? Embrace the chaos, channel it. Let it fuel you, let it drive you. If you're not going to get into that ring and wow them, then don't get in there at all. But if you're going to wow them, then really bloody wow them. Do things that'll have them chanting your name. Interior, wrestling venue, VIP section, night. Jess with a bag. Brooke, Marie are at the VIP table. Kyle approaches, flustered. Here, Jess, lass, could you come over here for a sec? Jess, getting up. Yeah, sure. Won't be a minute, guys. Jess walks away with Kyle. Brooke. Who's that? Marie shrugs her shoulders, pretends not to be suspicious. Backstage, Kyle's with Mary. Jess walks in. Jess. What's up? Kyle's stressed. His brow furrows. Look, ladies, I know how hard you've worked, and you're still going to fight, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to cut your fight time. What? I know. I'm sorry. There's been a mix-up with the venue closing time, and, well, I have to cut some time. Count yourselves lucky. I have to cancel another fight altogether. Mary's eyes widen slightly as she grits her teeth. Kyle, no, please, I'm not doing this for me. Lass, I'm sorry. It's the way it is. I'll make it up to you, but for tonight, you've a 30-second fight. Mary wins. Work out your script. You're on soon. Kyle hurries away. Jess approaches Marie and Brooke, head down, shoulders dropped. The noise of the ongoing fight in the background. Brooke's excited. Jess, dejected. I'm really sorry. Something's come up, and I need to make a call outside. Marie. Is everything okay, love? Jess, grabbing her bag. Yeah, honestly, everything's fine. I'll be back in a bit. Marie's eyes follow Jess. Brooke concentrates on wrestling. Interior, wrestling venue backstage. Jess, in her outfit, mask in hand, shakes nervously. The crowd cheers and boos at Mary outside as entrance music plays. Kyle. Good luck, lass. Kyle appears from behind a curtain. Jess. Thanks. Jess smiles nervously. Enjoy it, Jess. You've earned it. Embrace the chaos. Bloody scene, Piernas. Kyle winks, squeezes her arm, disappears. Jess pulls her mask down, steps forward. Jess stands, entrance music plays, crowd cheer and jeer. She pauses, throws her hands in the air, eyes widen, she marches towards the ring. Brooke sees Piernas' blades, screams with joy, nudges Marie. No way! She has prosthetics! Oh my God, where's Jess? She has to see. Marie's dumbstruck, begins to laugh, shakes her head. Jess and Mary fight. Jess gives Mary several slaps. Mary bounces her from the ropes and slams her into the ground. Jess wriggles free and stomps on Mary twice with her blade. Mary catches her leg and cuts away her standing leg. Jess crashes to the mat. Mary climbs on top of Jess. Jess talks to Mary as they struggle. Jess points using her eyes. Mary, listen, I'm not a wrestler. I'm only here for one reason, to show that little girl over there that the fact that she lost her leg doesn't mean she can't be a real wrestler like you. Mary glances at Brooke. Mary bounces Jess off opposite ropes. She slams and pins Jess. Mary, please, just let me make it a fight. Let's wow them. Mary makes eye contact with Jess. A hint of a smile appears. Just before the 3 count, Mary launches herself from Jess, as if kicked off. Backstage, Kyle watches from behind a curtain. He checks his watch. His mouth opens in disbelief. He holds his hands out and drops them, causing them to slap off his thighs. He shakes his head. Jess throws Mary onto the corner, jumps on her and rains punches down. She jumps off and bounces Mary off the rope before clotheslining her to the mat with force. Mary, on her back, acts unconscious. Backstage, Kyle watches the crowd, smiles. Jess jumps out of the ring. She approaches Brooke, who is in awe. The two look at one another. Brooke mimics Piernas' stance. She pushes her chest out, stands proud in front of her. Mary gets up, appears outside the ropes behind Jess. Brooke, watch out! Jess spins and kicks Mary back through the ropes before she can jump. Jess gives the thumbs up to Brooke. Jess jumps into the ring, pretends to punch Mary. Jess, whisper, thank you. Mary nods slightly, grunts. Jess stands and raises her arms. The crowd cheers. Kyle, in the crowd, shakes his head and chuckles. Jess faces the ropes, holds out her finger and draws 3 circles in the air. Brooke's amazed. The triple moonsault. Jess! Brooke holds out her fist. She begins to cry. Jess looks at Brooke, pauses, holds out her fist. They carry out their fist pump at distance in unison. Jess carries out a triple springboard moonsault, lands on Mary. The crowd erupts. Kyle and the crowd around him go crazy with excitement. Marie is with Brooke. They scream and applaud. Jess jumps out of the ring and goes to get Brooke. She lifts her into the ring. Jess holds Brooke's hand and walks her to the centre of the ring. She raises Brooke's hands in the air. The crowd cheers. Jess ushers Brooke towards Mary. Brooke shakes her head and smiles. Jess ushers again, then nods. Jess, oi, we tag team partners or what? Brooke smiles, runs towards Mary, jumps on her. Mary sneaks a peek, smiles. The two stand in the ring, arms aloft as the crowd erupts again. Brooke beams proudly at Jess, tears in her eyes. Jess beams back, also tearful. The referee comes between them and holds their arms aloft. Jess carries Brooke out of the ring and puts her on her shoulders. Jess walks them both down the runway. The crowd gather around them in celebration, continue to chant and cheer. The end.
Sin Piernas was written by Tom Burrows and read by Ruth Hayes, with music by Michael Oliver. If you like this episode, why not leave us a review on iTunes or one of the many other podcast platforms that we're on. Also, make sure you visit our website, thescriptdepartment.net, where you can find out more about upcoming projects that we are working on and listen to all our previous episodes. We'll be back in a fortnight with another episode, and thanks for listening.